Los últimos, en Estados Unidos, a tal punto que ya le digo que es un mercado absolutamente distinto en ese sentido, que la penetración de Amazon es tan potente que en los últimos años, cuando usted va a meterse en Europa o aquí, usted va a meterse a buscar algo, el paso normal es que yo me meto en Google, pongo el nombre de lo que quiero buscar y me manda al total de lo que hay en el mundo, ¿no? Pues en Estados Unidos, según datos, se meten ya directamente en muchos casos por Amazon directamente. ¿De acuerdo? En vez de meterse por Google, se meten a buscar por Amazon los productos. Y esto es, ya para terminar, la máquina de las patentes, ¿no? Que, bueno, básicamente Amazon, yo tengo un libro que, por cierto, el libro luego les cogerán los datos, me ha dicho la organización, y les enviarán a todos el libro que tengo. Ha tenido más de 100.000 bajadas del libro de Amazon, y lo único que ahora voy a terminarlo, está un poquito obsoleto en la última parte, pero lo publiqué en noviembre, y ustedes imagínense lo que ha pasado en 11 meses, ¿no? Y ahora estoy terminándolo. Entonces, básicamente, lo que estás diciendo es por qué, no te puedes preguntar por qué, cuando la cuestión es por qué no, ¿no? Y entonces, Amazon, como les decía, yo tengo inventariado hasta 53 fracasos que han hecho, que están documentados, porque evidentemente, como habíamos dicho, están mirando hacia el consumidor y están haciendo muchísimas cosas, poniéndolo, y evidentemente no todas salen bien. Y el tema de las patentes, pues es una máquina de hacer patentes, que muchas de las patentes pues llegan a algún sitio o no llegan a algún sitio, porque yo les invito a revisar las patentes de Amazon porque son pues galácticas. Pero tiene una cosa muy interesante, si tú analizas las patentes, es que entiendes en qué están pensando. Y aunque se vayan por las nubes, sabes que ahí están mirando hacia arriba, hacia cómo transportar las cosas por arriba. Luego ya veremos si van con Zeppelin o van con no sé qué, pero es muy interesante, de las patentes sacas muchísima información. Y yo en mi caso pues me he leído, bueno, muchas las he dejado a las 5 líneas porque no me enteraba, ¿sabes? Eran muy técnicas, pero he leído bastantes de ellas. Y entonces estas también, miren, hubo un año aquí que era el Festival de las Patentes y ya van bajando, pero estas son mucho más sólidas y tienen que ver mucho con el tema de la logística y la inteligencia artificial, muchísimo, ¿vale? Y miren, esto es todas las patentes, las key phrases que están en todas las patentes. Y esto nos dice también un poquito en qué están pensando, por dónde en qué están pensando trabajar para desarrollar, ¿de acuerdo? Y hasta aquí he llegado, no sé si tienen alguna pregunta. Sí. Sí, bueno, está vendiendo, o sea, está bastante introducido dentro del mercado norteamericano, de tal punto, dentro de una de las cosas que ha puesto dentro de como Prime Member, una de las ventajas que tiene es que te lo vende mucho más barato. O sea, le ha dado ese peso de importancia de esas 15 o 16 cosas que tienen, pues una de las ofertas es tenerlo con una reducción de coste. Creo que es el 50% o así. ¿Alguien tiene alguna pregunta? Y si no, David, sorry, my friend.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to speak English. Anybody want French? No? Okay. So, okay. You're going to start? No? Okay. Anyway, Amazon is scared of 4 companies. And one is not a company, to be truthful. The number one thing they're scared of is the U.S. government. The reason they're scared of the U.S. government is because, by definition, they are a monopoly online. They control 50% of the online business in the United States. And because of definitions going back and forth, they're either a monopoly or not a monopoly. And this is a very serious question for them. It's why they have more people in Washington, D.C. than almost any other company in the United States. So that's their problem number one. Problem number 2 is Alibaba. So every country they go into with Alibaba basically beats up on them. Alibaba has a very different business model. They have a very different approach. Probably the biggest difference between Alibaba and Amazon is Alibaba builds malls, they build stores, they build transportation networks, and what Amazon does is basically come into countries that have good transportation networks, good postal services, and they use it. When they go into bad ones, it doesn't work so well. So there's kind of, there are two issues. Third is Walmart, in that the largest player, the largest retailer in the United States is Walmart, the largest retailer in each one of their other markets is Walmart, and Walmart has come up with a very different approach to online, to click and collect. And that appeals to a lot of people in the market, so that's the other thing that they're contending with. The fourth company is interesting in that basically they're very concerned about a company called Kroger in the United States. And Kroger is the world's largest grocery company. And until 2 or 3 months ago, they had no online grocery. They don't care. They look at, Kroger is an interesting company. They look at that and said, why should we lose money? Because keep in mind, Amazon loses money on groceries. So they have a very hard-headed attitude towards this, which is, I'm not going to do online grocery until I can make money. Well, Kroger started doing this 2 months ago. So this is an issue. Walmart makes money on grocery also. That's another issue. So there's things that's going on here. It's very easy when you look at Amazon to start getting a feeling of, I should go home, I should sit in my kitchen, I should stop coming out because they're going to take over the world. That's not quite how it's happening. That said, they do have an influence on the rest of retail, and that's what I want to take you through. And so I want to take you through 3 different elements here. If I can figure out where I am here. Okay, there we go. How do I get up? Okay, I'll let him do it. Okay, first I want to show you what Amazon is doing in retail. Okay, so I'll show you their stores, I'll show you how they work, I'll show you how they're organized. Okay, that's interesting because it's a very consistent type of philosophy about how they work. Second, I will take you to Alibaba in terms of how Alibaba is organizing those stores, because that's quite different. Alibaba really likes shopping malls. They really like supermarkets. And it's a very different market because they're in China and there's some different things there I'll talk about. The third thing is how the Amazon is changing some of the ways that retail works around the world. And we'll take you through some examples there too. I can speak very quickly. I apologize before I start. If you don't understand something or if you have a question, wave your hand. I'm more than happy to answer. Second, my Spanish is bad, as you know. My hearing is worse. So if I have to have you repeat twice, I apologize now. It's my problem, not yours. So by all means, stop me. So we'll try it this way. I don't know how to break the news to you, but you loaded up the wrong presentation. Yeah, you did. I gave you 2 of them. No, it's not your fault. I don't.
The other one?
Yeah, the second one.
No.
Okay. So as I was talking about, this is basically, look at Amazon stores. There are basically 3 different types of stores. Second, look at Alibaba and Tencent, which is doing a very different approach to the market. And then look at the other in terms of current approach to brick and mortar. So this is their first store. This is Amazon Books. They currently have about 16 or 17 of these stores. This is where most of the concepts that they came up with started. Amazon started as a book company, as you know. They did not compete against Barnes & Noble and Borders. They competed against a company in Portland called Powell's Books, which, by the way, is still in business and still doing quite well. So their business model originally came from another retailer in the United States. Amazon Books is essentially set up as a means of showing product and basically having people come in, order product, and then have it delivered at home. It's a showroom. It's not intended to sell books inside the store in the way that you would expect. A lot of the nomenclature that you see here in terms of that is they're about 800 square meters. It's organized very much like a regular store, a lot of notation around it and such, a lot of references taking you back to Amazon. The store is organized, and about half the store is booked, the rest of it is technology. So they find that it does very well in terms of selling that type of product. It's a general rule, you should never use somebody else's computer. Pardon? This is fairly typical for how they're organized in terms of that. Is a lot of the stuff that they're trying to sell is media. A lot of the stuff they're trying to sell is also their own. Amazon Echo. I can't get the computer to work, so if you could help me, please. Amazon Echo and all the other products that Amazon make are made at cost. So the idea here is to sell you a product that's going to encourage you to use other media and other products from Amazon and pull it in terms of other items that are coming in and such. A couple of other details from this in terms of showing a lot of their other products like Fire. Okay, thank you, sir. It started off they started publishing up the customer things. The store, as it's aged, they've had troubles. A lot of these are now handwritten. A lot of them are placed up to make it look in different ways and such. Just the way it's working for them. Again, one of the other things they do is they like trying together theming. So our best picks from 2015, if robots work the world, the history things, they like to label things as to the purpose, not necessarily history, science, etc. Okay, so on average, an Amazon bookstore loses about $2 to $3 million per year. Just understand the mathematics here. Okay, the store is there as a showroom. It's a cost. It's really marketing. It is not intended to sell product in the store. It's intended to sell product online and show product the other direction. Another way of looking at this is they're spending about $3 million to do very active marketing in, say, New York City, Boston, etc. So these are expensive cities for marketing. It's a rational strategy. It's not one that they do internationally, however. It's one they do in the US. So when we look at the next store, this is Amazon 4-star. This is the store that we were just talking about. This just opened up in southern Manhattan. For those of most of you go to New York at some point in this year, just go down to the Village. It's down in that area with all the other flagship stores and such. Very similar to the bookstore, lots of notation, a lot of comments in terms of that. Basically, it's a junk store. It's a combination of everything that's sold for 4 stars. They just bring it in, they put it out, they show, they get a dialogue going with it. Again, it's a means of creating some form of marketing against what they're trying to do. Lots of signs. Lots and lots of signs, lots of notations and such. What's interesting is they have lots of signs. They do not have very much digital. There's very few digital signs in the store. It's almost all paper signs. Not quite sure why as of yet. I think they did this a little too quick. The next store will probably be more digital. Again, selling their own product, that's the whole center of the store is in terms of selling the Alexa, the Dot, and all the other products that have Fireband and such. iRobot is a strategic partner of theirs, so they dedicated a portion of the store to that. Does anybody own a Roomba? Okay. So this is the robot that goes through your house and vacuums and everything else. By the way, this is the #1 robot in the world, for those of you that were curious. So you were using it to vacuum your house, your cat rides on it and everything else. It's a wonderful thing. So the other thing they're trying to do with the store is also encourage people to sign up for Prime. So the interesting thing here is when they start talking about Prime, they don't talk about the product in the store, they talk about media. They talk about music, they talk about video, they talk about a lot of the other benefits, but they don't talk about the product. So there's kind of a disconnect here in terms of how the store operates in these things. Amazon Go, this is their second store. Okay, I can't overemphasize this. They had one store, they opened the first store 2 years ago. This is the second store. Any day now they will have 3 stores. Okay, this is not how retail works, okay? You don't open stores like this. They're interesting stores, I will confess to that. They are located, the 2 stores, the 3rd store they're putting in, I've seen where that's going. It is going inside of corporate businesses. There's a separate entrance you have to go in before you get to the Amazon Go store. So there's security there. It's also a lot of employees. So the Amazon Go store is about twice the size of this room, and there's 14 employees. So there's some interesting labor discussions you can get into. The fact that there's no cashiers is not the same thing as saying there's no employees. They're very employee rich in terms of how they do it and such. This store is located in a business district in Chicago. It's open from 9 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock at night. It does not open on the weekends because nobody lives here. This is just workers. So it really behaves more like a commissary or a corporate type location and such. There